There is a path ahead of every person alive, and the only question that matters is whether they will walk it in noise or in silence. There is a feeling that has no name, a light that ignites somewhere behind your ribs without warning. And that feeling is a dream being born inside you. And the moment it arrives, the very first thing most people do is open their mouth. They tell a friend, they share the plan, they announce what they are going to become. But then something strange happens. The notebook sits open, the pen rests still in the hand, and the fire that was burning so brightly just days ago begins to go quiet. Because when you speak a dream before it is strong enough to survive the hearing, you release the fire as smoke, beautiful for one moment, and then completely gone. His name was Adam. He grew up in a small, quiet town where the roads were unpaved and the mornings were honest, and in his chest he carried something he had not yet named. His father worked 16 hours every day in a small garage, his hands always dark from the oil, his eyes always tired. But never once, in all those years, did he complain. His mother washed other people's clothes every single morning, wringing each piece by hand. She smiled while she worked, because the reason for the work was worth everything. Every day Adam moved through school with his body present and his mind somewhere far away. Somewhere he had not yet arrived. Somewhere he could not yet see clearly. Then one afternoon he found a magazine. Inside it was a photograph of a man standing before a building with his name on the sign, and tears came before he understood why. He told his friend everything. The dream, the plan, the vision, and his friend listened with his arms crossed and a pleasant smile that did not believe a single word. He told others too, and they cheered, and he sat in that warmth feeling satisfied and full, not knowing that fullness was the most dangerous thing that could have happened to him. He sat at his desk and looked at the blank notebook page and understood something terrible. He had traded the hunger for applause, and now both the hunger and the applause were gone. He had posted about it, the likes had come, the notifications had lit up the screen, and his brain received its reward before a single brick had been laid, before a single thing was real. He stared at the plans he had written and felt the weight of how much energy he had spent explaining the dream instead of building it, defending it instead of living it. He held the phone and felt the hollow warmth of being seen before being accomplished. And somewhere behind that smile, the dream was slowly, quietly going dark. Long before any of this existed, human beings gathered around fires in the dark, and being seen by the group, being celebrated by the tribe, meant survival itself. His father sat with him one evening and said, "The world is not gentle with dreamers, son." And Adam heard the love in every word, and he also heard the doubt, and the doubt went in. Real silence is not weakness, it is armor, and the person who learns to stand still while the wind bends everything around them has found the most powerful thing a human being can carry. Silence is this: two hands cupped around a flame in the dark. Not because the wind is not real, but because what is inside those hands is worth protecting more than anything else. Years passed. Adam lost his job, and he sat in the car in the rain with his hands on the steering wheel while the city moved on outside without knowing his name. He went home and he opened his notebook. Not to post, not to announce, not for anyone outside that room, just himself and the page and the most honest conversation he had ever had. He wrote for hours without stopping, every idea, every plan, every contact built across years of work. And this time he made a decision that no one witnessed. He would tell no one. The first small victory came quietly. He wrote one word in the center of a blank page, the word one, and he held a cup of tea and let that be enough. And it was more than enough. There were very hard nights when the loneliness sat on his chest and would not move. But he did not perform the struggle for anyone. He simply sat with it and then got up. He hired his first person, a young woman who needed a second chance in exactly the way he once had needed one. And in that handshake, two quiet stories found each other. 2 years after the night in the parking lot, Adam walked through the door of a building that bore his name. Not with a raised fist, not with an announcement, just walked through the door. The lion does not announce the hunt, it moves when the moment is exactly right, with everything it has, with total and devastating commitment, and the silence before that moment is the weapon. The lion waits in the grass without a sound, not because it is afraid, not because it is weak, but because it has learned that silence before the act makes the act unstoppable. A seed does not tell the world what it will become. It simply pushes upward in the dark, alone, without witnesses, until one morning it stands unmistakable, undeniable, impossible to dismiss. Silence looks like this: a night bus in the rain, a book open in the lap, the world asleep around you, doing the work without photographing it, without needing a single person to witness it. Silence looks like this: crouching down, pressing one brick into the mortar, rising, pressing another. Not for the camera, not for the caption, just the brick in the wall and the work. Every single brick placed without an audience becomes part of a wall, and walls become the foundation of empires that the world will one day stand in front of and wonder how they were built. The world is full of people making noise about what they are going to do, announcing the life they intend to build, while the life itself waits for them to stop talking and begin. There was a sculptor named Mira who worked alone for 3 years, telling no one what she was making. And she did not open the doors of her workshop until the work could speak for itself. When she finally opened the doors, the world stopped. People came from every direction, not because she had announced anything, but because the work had arrived and the work was undeniable. That is what you are building toward, not the announcement of the empire, the arrival of it. The moment when the result stands in the world and makes every explanation completely unnecessary. The path is still open. It has always been open, and the only question now is whether you will walk it making noise, or whether you will walk it in the beautiful, powerful, building silence. This is Silent Parables, and the most powerful thing you will ever say to the world is the empire you build without saying a single word.